Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Suited and Booted. I'm your host, Jarogba. To my right,
number 10.
And to his right,
CFO, GD.
Yes, sir.
And we have a very special guest coming in today who you guys will see in the coming minutes. But before we get into that...
You're not going to share who it is, the special guest?
Should we share who it is?
Well, it's going to say in the...
It'll say in the thing as well.
They already know it.
Yeah, it'll say in the thing as well, but like if you can't read, I guess you're in for a surprise.
Yeah, dude. We mentioned a discussion we had with this man a few weeks ago at a Australia Cup game. So from that discussion and knowing his bit of quirky sense of humour, which you're going to bring up on the Big Tree in Business, I'm pretty excited about this pod to go into his sort of coaching style, philosophy, and all things management.
If you haven't figured it out by now, and I can't help you. But before we get into that, we have something very special here on the set. It is the brand spanking new Puma Premier League ball for the 25-26 season. It is an absolute gem. Shout out to Puma for sending this and a bunch of other goodies through. The ball is absolutely fantastic. I've actually had a kick with it already.
Yeah.
Not this one, but it's quality.
Yeah. One of the ones that we got.
One of the ones that we got. Obviously, it's FIFA Quality Pro. It's an official size 5, if you guys are wondering. And it's got the little bumps and shit on it. You know when the balls are cool and they got the bumps on it. You know, me and my brother had a little kick. And he goes, yeah, you can just feel the difference. Love the design. It's awesome. Not just saying that because they sent it. It's an Orbiter Ultimate. That's what the ball is called. And yeah, shout out to Puma for sending this through. You guys can go cop this on the Puma website. They've got them on the Puma website. Get your official Premier League balls and stop playing with them bullshits, really.
Bro, so this is big because the Nike ball was the ball of the Premier League for like 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
Yep.
So this is a massive get.
This is actually...
massive change. This is the first time, there's been another ball in our lifetime? Oh, no, maybe not.
Mida was probably around.
Mida.
Yeah, Mida was probably around. Then Nike... I think Nike might have come in like 2000 or something like that.
Right.
So this basically is a moment of change. Massive moment of change.
This is a huge moment.
So if you get your hands on one of these...
Go get them, guys. They're awesome.
Are we potentially going to do giveaway of one of these?
We will. So we haven't decided how and why or when. But
why?
Yeah, we might just keep it.
Definitely we'll be doing a giveaway for the booters. If you want to get your hands, it'll be this exact ball. So we've all touched it, so it's worth a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like here, look how the price is going up.
Jerome's rubbed his ass on it.
Yeah, the price is going up. No, but man, seriously, great ball. I can't wait to go. And please, guys, don't use it on concrete.
Yeah, I also I was watching the clip of the Premier League sort of launching this ball, and the whole clip was based around like creating games in your backyards with like the ball and like almost not having to be a proper official football game to use the Premier League ball, which was what we were speaking about the other week when you were talking about he was supersonic and we were talking about me and Rashid's trampoline goalkeeping game and stuff. So I thought it was a really cool endorsement for it as well, which if people haven't checked that out, I think Morgan Rogers is in it from Villa.
Heavy duty as well, so you don't need to worry about this smacking into random bins and windows and everything in your backyard because it'll stand the test of time, this one. So go get that. But just quickly, the Premier League is starting.
Oh, bro, so pumped,
this weekend.
I don't know what it is. Maybe growing up in Australia. But you just feel like a kid before Christmas.
One of the best weeks of the year.
It is, bro. Why do I still get that sense of rush?
Yeah. So already me and my mates are having a Prem barbecue.
Prem Barbs.
Yeah.
Fuck, bro. What night is it?
You guys are welcome to come on down.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, Saturday night, the first game I think is a 9:30 kickoff. I believe it's Aston Villa playing. We've got Crystal Palace, which... They've just shocked Liverpool and beaten them in the Community Shield. They're not going to be easy. They're coming off 2 bits of silverware. They got all the confidence in the world. But we are the best club in the world literally. So we'll see how we go.
Your preseason game against AC Milan.
Yeah, we slaughtered
if
them.
If that is anything to go by, how easily you dismantled top team in Europe. I think people might. I don't think people are sleeping on Chelsea as much, but I think people are over emphasising Liverpool and Man City and not putting Chelsea in that bracket of like this team might be able to win the Prem.
Well, I don't want to get too excited because what's happened in the past is we've had shit pre-seasons and then we've gone and won stuff. Pre-seasons are a bit of a tricky one. It's almost like if you have too perfect of a pre-season, then it all falls to shit at some stage during the season. But we've been pretty flawless. Like, we had one game in the Club World Cup where we looked a bit but we spanked AC Milan. We breezed past Bayer Leverkusen. Our new signings are scoring. It just looks great. Obviously, Colwell's out. That sucks. But
what do you think of Esteval?
Oh, man.
He's elite, huh? He's special.
I don't want him to start, obviously, just yet. He's not ready. But when he comes on, he's got cojones, man. Like, this guy will run at players, will take on players. He's not afraid to miss shots. He's not afraid if tricks don't come off and all that. I love that. And a few of the older boys in the team will help him, settle in. There's a few Brazilians there now, so that'll help. Man, he looks great. I'm going to love seeing the battle between Joao Pedro and Liam Delap for that spot because they both offer stuff for us and they're both proper strikers, finally.
Who's your go-to at the moment?
It'd be just Joao Pedro, but you never know. Like, we've got Champions League.
So you rate Delap that highly?
What do you mean?
Like, you put him in that category of like he could definitely start for Chelsea.
No, I mean Joao Pedro will probably start.
Yeah, but I'm saying you.
Oh yeah,
he'll compete.
You rate the lap that
he'll compete. He'll compete, and we need that because we got a lot of competitions this year, like 4 or 5, whatever it is. We need competition, and then even the young fullback we signed from Ajax, he looks good. Caicedo's still there. Cucurella is still there. Guess we're keeping Rob Sanchez. That won't change. Shout out Bobby.
Palace, sorry to cut you off. Palace, I think they're going to have a good season, but it looks there's chances that Eze could be going to Tottenham.
He'll go.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then Guehi is potentially going to Liverpool.
Yeah, that's one that I want to come back to Chelsea.
Dude, Van Dijk did a few non-Van Dijk things in that.
Community Shield, I never take into account.
But Van Dijk didn't get taken on for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Bro. And now he's giving away like silly fouls and stuff.
Do you know why I don't take those games that seriously? Because Haaland had a stinker in it. And then the same season, he scored 97 goals or whatever the fuck it was. So I don't really take that into account as much.
I do, bro, because I've watched Man U play in the Community Shield every year for so long. And every time we used to win it, we used to go on and win the Prem.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're probably right in moments I'm right, but I don't think you should overread
Bro, doing the math, Chelsea would have beat Perth Glory 12-0. Because if AC beat them 9-0
oh, yeah, no
and we beat them 4-1.
No shit.
Yeah, we dismantled them. So
who do we think outside of – who do you think's going to have a good season?
Dark horse?
Yeah, dark horse. Like, what are our European contenders here? Because I think Newcastle's going to be very, very interesting with Alexander Isak.
It's not a good start to their season to have all that commotion going on.
Yeah, but, surely if they do get rid of him, like they'd better be hoping they can land someone else because they're a pretty strong makeup. Same with Villa.
I'll say outside of the main contenders, I'll say that I always feel like Brighton are going to be there or about. They just always, every season, they just go sign some gems and do well. United will do better. Tottenham will probably do better. I still think Villa will be very good. They'll definitely be in the conference or the Europa spots.
Nottingham Forest managed to lose a few but still gain a few and keep Gibbs White.
Well, everyone's just scared of their owner. So
yeah,
there's a whole joke running around that Gibbs White was like, he had no choice but to sign. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like, yeah, mate, just tell him how happy you are to be here and shut up.
Yeah.
Also, just seeing that Grealish has gone to Everton, which was interesting.
Everton always make these random signings.
Well, someone made a good point. There's this weird pipeline that always happens. Aston Villa, to Man City to Everton. Gareth Barry, Fabian Delph, Jack Grealish. Like, it's like this weird sort of...
Interesting. Oh, can I bring a theory around, you know how people talk about, like, for instance, I'll give you something Ryan Giggs said about when he was brought up as a winger. It was like, you take on your fullback 10 times. If you fail 9, that one time can win you the game.
True.
Whereas you watch Grealish, when people say he was at Villa, he was a megastar, then goes to City and like doesn't flourish as much. So like when he goes to Everton, it's like, oh, Grealish is going to go back to his old self and play. But give me your opinion on this, right? If Grealish goes to City and people say like he just went into a system and didn't evolve his game as much, didn't take people on, wasn't as didn't take as many risks and so forth. But like, is that just not a showing of like you've gone into a team with better players? And
Well, that's a good point.
Mike, Gav.
That's a great point.
Well, think of like
Because
you're playing
I
with the
feel
Ballon d'Or player, you're playing with Haaland.
But also, he has to almost do less, and the team's performing around him. Does that make sense?
Correct.
Which I like. Obviously, I'm not playing at that standard, but I felt there was times where I was playing with certain players or certain clubs that were better than what I play or have played, and you actually do less, but the team performs better. So it's like, I've done my job, I've played the ball on. That winger now knows what he has to do.
Put it this way. Everyone sort of shares that sentiment. And again, I don't...
Do you get what I'm saying though? Do you
Yeah,
like, everyone is saying that about...
I definitely get it.
Yeah.
This is my view on it, right? And again, I majority watch Chelsea. Like, it's very rare that I'll get up to watch other teams. If they're on, I'll watch it. But it's not like I'm watching the full 45-minute highlights of Man City because I don't care. But from what I've seen, with Pep City, it's always been a case of players have purple patches, then they're left out of the team, then they're randomly brought back in and they have another purple patch, then they're left out for like 4 months for no reason, then they're brought back in. That's just how Pep is. I feel like everyone's had patch. There was patches at City where Grealish was starting games, big games, and making an impact.
And performing, yeah.
Right? But when you got that many stars in the team, you can't expect him to put on an 8 out of 10 every single week, especially when he's not starting every week. And I thought about it this way. I thought, when I read the news, I thought, I wonder how Grealish is feeling. Like, he's obviously regressing, with all due respect to Everton. But, bro, he's won it all.
Yeah. Like what?
Prams, Champions Leagues.
He did the treble.
Yeah, trebles. Like, what else can you achieve, really? He just wants to go party with Pickford now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think people misunderstand the fact that it's like, it's not a Grealish thing and a Pep thing. It's like, bro, you've gone into a team with KDB. People say stop taking on players. It's like, well, if you watch Doku, in Pep teams, you can take on players, but you've got to be like the best in the world at taking him on, or else you got to keep the ball. I just thought, from what I saw, that taking on players wasn't Grealish's... Yeah, he's not even leggy.
Yeah, he's not. He's solid. He's sort of press resistant. He's tricky.
He's jinky. Yeah, he needs a yard.
Yeah,
player.
Like, his legs, obviously, paws are huge. He's a strong boy as well. So he's just not that type of like pace abuser winger. Like, he's never been that guy. He's more just find the little pockets. Yeah, like you said, he's not leggy. So anyway, I like him though. I think he's a good player. Yeah, where do you think Man U's going to come? You've managed to talk about Chelsea for 45 hours and not bring up my team once. Actually, you know what? To be fair, I got to give myself some slack. I haven't brought up Chelsea in fucking months. Besides the Club World Cup.
I think because we banned it.
To be fair,
like I think we banned it. That's
right. For those here and waiting for Arthur Diles.
Yeah, oh, that's who we're having.
By the way, Arthur's late.
He's here.
Oh.
Trying to find parking.
So, no,
is that a
they're
fine
here.
for him?
Should we pause here and oh yeah,
we can rap.
Yeah, we can rap on a beat if you want as well.
He's a pretty important guest, guys. So I think the Prem talk will have to be stalled for a bit, but we'll get back to it. And trust me, we're just kicking off. Puma with the new ball. It's going to be a dope season, and we'll be speaking about it a lot. All right, we back, and our guest is here, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Arthur Diles.
Yeah, big Dilla. What a coach, man.
Welcome. How you been, man?
Yeah, apart from a bit of a speed up the other week, been good apart from that. Yeah.
You know what's funny about that? I believe you're talking about the Australia Cup game.
Yes.
Oh, I was like, what?
So I'm going to tell you something hilarious. This is how not in the know my mum is. So she walks into my study the other day and I go, oh, speaking of the Victoria head coach on Wednesday, she goes, oh, I saw him at the airport. And I said, oh. She goes, they all looked fuming. She goes up to one of the players and goes, did you just win?
Oh, no.
And then they go, no, we didn't. And I'm like, oh, they probably thought you were taking the piss, but she was genuinely asking that. And I was just like, okay, this is why. Just leave them alone.
Does she work at the airport?
No. She just happened to be coming back at the exact same time you guys were. I was like, bloody hell. But
I've spoken about this before and not making excuses because I know you probably believe you should win those games. But I've spoken about this before a little bit from the A-League end of like going to those grounds, playing in those environments, particularly in pre-season. Like it's not as easy as – it's almost like a bit of a lose-lose because you win, you're supposed to – you lose, you get killed for it. So, I mean, what do you have a view of like, I guess not why you lost, but some of the difficulties that are unique to the A-League environment, or is there sort of minimal forgiveness with you with sort of those results?
Yeah, I think there's minimal forgiveness, to be fair. We approach our match like we would any match. You know, it's a significant match. It's a really important match in our calendar, and it's a cup, and we didn't want to go out of that cup so early, that's for sure. We prepared like we would any other game, and it's something we didn't take them lightly. It was a difficult match, but in the end, that's football, unfortunately. And we've got to bounce back from that. We're hurting. We definitely hurt after that, and it just gives us more ammunition to keep working harder in pre-season and get it right. But yeah, I mean, credit to them. You go to those grounds. There's a great crowd. Great atmosphere. It was a big occasion for them and everyone involved, and we gave it our all, and we fell short. We can say we had 10 men, 2 penalties. That's the game. They were penalties that were due, and it wasn't anything other than on the night we fell short, and that's not good enough for us. And we'll learn from that. And like I said, that'll give us ammunition and fuel to get through the rest of pre-season as best as we can to be ready for the start of the season.
Just quickly, obviously it's a well-known fact that I think the A-League is the longest preseason in the world, or one of the longest.
Oh, if it's not.
How do you work around that? Because you almost, obviously there's some coaches in world football that their players might get 3 weeks because of international tournaments or Club World Cup or whatever, but then here it's what, 2.5 months?
No, more than that.
Oh, it's more.
It's like close to 4.
Oh, yeah,
no?
it's
close to 4 months. Yeah, well, it could be even more than 4 months, depending on when you come back. And yeah, that's part of the challenge of the A-League. But it's what makes the A-League unique. And thankfully that we have a cup in that period. That the longer you go in that cup, there's more to play for. But
true.
And that's another thing when you fall out of the cup competition and you lose those matches. Okay, you're going to get friendly matches, and you make do with every match you can play. But that's always the motivation in pre-season because that takes you pretty much up to the start of the season. And yeah, now it's a different motivation, and it's not an excuse. We still have to get ready, and it won't be an excuse when the season starts that we haven't had enough matches. We'll have enough matches. We've got enough time to get this right, and we'll make sure we do everything to get it right.
Has it been, I guess, this particular pre-season for you, even though you've been a part of Melbourne Victory for a while, has this been, despite obviously the challenge of losing some good players, I know you're bringing players in, has it been kind of nice to stabilise your imprint across the squad and kind of be at the helm for a period of time where you can maybe have some time to work with the team? Or has it been, obviously, you've also had transition with players going out as well, so accommodating that?
We've had to accommodate that, and also staff. And
right.
Yeah, so there wasn't really an off-season this year, and that's the nature of the beast, right? It's, we had to bring in an assistant coach and a fitness coach, and so there's a bit of work to do there in the off-season, along with not knowing which players will be sold or would be leaving. We had a fair idea that it'd be interesting to some of our players because, for me, that's the ultimate reward for their great performances over the last few years, and that's a reward for them. It's also a reward for the club, even though we've lost Socceroos players. That's what happens off the back of success and sustained success. And, a lot of those players weren't Socceroos when they came to us, to Melbourne Victory.
Very true.
And the fact that they've been able to take that next step and then obviously go overseas is a great reward for everyone involved. And, that made this off-season a little bit busier than I probably would have liked. But, in this industry, there's no days off.
Yeah.
So you can have no training, but there's no day off.
Yeah, correct.
Obviously, it's almost nearly half or 40% of the starting 11. Machach, Arzani, Teague, Boss, Hamill's injured, Guerrier before that a while back. But, yeah, what is the mindset going in when, like you said, you're very happy for them because they deserved moves, I guess, with all due respect.
And this is also not abnormal to Melbourne Victory losing 4 or 5 to Europe.
And also, Arthur, this is
Asia.
your first start as the senior coach too, isn't it? Throughout the whole year, because last year you've come into the squad.
Yeah, obviously last year we come in at after round 7.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say come in, stepped up from round 7. Look, it is a lot of the squad, and a lot of A-League clubs are in that position every year because of the way the landscape is in Australia with salary cap. So, over the years when teams have been successful, it's hard to hold on to your players because of salary cap, people come in and poach your players, and that's just part of the job for me. And for me, it's an exciting part to rebuild this team. It'll be a different team. Mm-hmm. It can't be the same. It's, some of the players that you've mentioned there are not only significant footballers, but big characters. And it's going to be a different team and one that I'm excited to rebuild. And I can assure you it'll be a team that people will be proud to watch every week at Amy Park. And when we travel away, there'll be a team that will be different. It'll have a different feel to it, obviously with different players. But that's the same every year. It's a new team. And it's the same objective, though.
I think that's an interesting point. It's the same every year. It's an A-League thing, I think. If you are successful or if you make the finals or whatever, your best players, because of the landscape, it's becoming a selling league, if you want to call that, it's going to be hard. But a lot of the new signings that have come in seem very young and very hungry. Obviously, Davidson was announced this morning, which is some experience, which I'm sure Victory's happy about, but is it going to be that sort of young, hungry, point to prove players coming through and giving a new look?
Yeah, look, I think there's a place for everything.
Yeah.
There's a place for the young and hungry, absolutely. That should be everywhere, not just Melbourne Victory for me. But we also need a balance, and the balance is also having the right foreigners, the right senior players around these younger players, because you can have all the young players in the world, if they don't, and they can be talented, but if they don't have people next to them and around them that can mould them, that can help develop them, then the process to develop them might take longer. So it's important that we have a balance of youth, experience, foreigners, and for me, above all, every single player, irrespective of age or foreign, must have fire in the belly. And if they don't have that, then they're not welcome in my team or in this club, that's for sure. And doesn't matter the age. I'm not, whether the kid's 15 or 16 or whether you're 35, you got to have that hunger, and that hunger will bring motivation and the right mentality. And when you got that, then you can move forward, and that'll help people within the group. Yes, we have signed a lot of younger players in this off season. Ones with massive upsell and ability. You look at these players. A lot of them have represented national teams at a lot of levels. Young Socceroos, Joeys, Ollie Roos. Some have come back from Europe. Again, you go to Europe. Sometimes it's a positive experience for players. Sometimes it's not. When they come back, you want them to come back with the hunger to kick ass here in the A-League first, to rebuild their name, and then hopefully get back over there, however long that takes. And I believe we've got players that have come in that have that hunger and the ability and the desire to reach those goals, and together we'll help them get there.
So I just want to go back to the start of your story.
Do you want to tell the people as well how we met Dilla and how we got upstaged?
Yeah, so long story short, we were approached to do a 20-minute panel at Victory in Business.
Yeah.
And they said, we want you guys on at the end just for a bit of lighthearted humour or whatever. I was shitting myself a bit. It was 1,000 people there.
It was the first live we were asked to do a live comedy show.
Pretty much.
So, which at the time we said yes to, and then we thought about it, we're like, fuck.
Yeah, when we walked up there,
a lot of pressure, bro. I was like, man, this is a big room. This is a crown.
And everyone is like a part of some business, a business owner.
Corporate.
Yeah, all older than us. And I thought, okay, this is going to be interesting. So we went in there with I tried
hard to make everyone laugh.
I tried to make everyone in the crowd woof. That didn't work.
Maybe the wrong audience for us.
Yes.
But we span our humour and we wrote some pretty humorous things and we injected humour on
And
the
the video.
screen and all this stuff we did. And then the saving grace for our whole show
Pretty much, yeah.
was, hey, we're going to give you a chance to chat to Dilla. So Dilla came up, and then I don't know if you want to explain.
He
what
took us
happened
under
there.
his wing.
I don't remember.
Saved us.
I don't remember the exact line, but it got the most laughs more than anything that we had ever.
He said
got.
2 sentences and got more laughs than we did in 20 minutes.
I think it was something along the lines of, "It's harder looking after my kids than it is this whole squad because they're just crazy," or something like that.
And I don't know. And then it was like, I was like, "You got any advice for us?" He goes, "Yeah, don't have kids."
No. I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't have said that.
I think you were
Maybe
joking.
pick the timing better, maybe. No. Kids are great.
Yeah.
Kids are great. I encourage everyone to have kids, those that can.
we were so impressed with your natural ease of humour of getting the people to laugh when we were trying so hard that we walked off and were like, fuck, how did he do that?
Oh fuck! I tried so hard that I was trying too hard, and it was just it wasn't clicking, and I just said, "Thank fucking."
Yeah, so that was the first time we met Dylan, and then obviously we had a really cool chat with you a few weeks ago and just learnt, like, I mean, obviously we knew how intelligent your football brain was, but just picking your brain and like having that for us was quite fascinating to learn, which is why I think Jerome probably wanted to get a view of like your upbringing into football and why management as well.
Yeah, just talk to us about. I actually want to go back to your childhood, where you grew up, what football meant to you, who put you onto football, and then obviously how you decided to become a coach.
Yeah, well, I'm from Sydney originally, so born and bred in Sydney to Greek migrants. My parents were both born in Greece. So growing up, my father was a big fan of football. So from probably 2 or 3 years old, my football journey began. I'd go and watch Sydney Olympic play, Sydney Olympic train in the old National League. On winter nights, I'd be there behind the goals, chasing balls, and going to every match. And my highlight growing up was always getting ready for the next home game of Sydney Olympic. You'd go to school on Monday depressed because you're 5-6 days away from a match. Come Thursday, Friday, you start to get excited because now Olympics playing this weekend against Marconi. I can't wait to go. It's away. So when we're away, we normally stop my uncle's place who lives close to Marconi. So we'll go there for lunch, then watch the game.
Lovely.
If Olympic wins, it's a great week. If Olympic doesn't win, it's miserable. The drive home, no one talks. So yeah, that's my story in terms of my love for football. It comes from my father, and I just loved it. It's I was never forced into it. That's for sure. It was just I was around it and took a loving to it. And the passion, just loved it. Just loved watching. Then I've got an older brother, and when he registered to play soccer at 6, I was only 4. So I just joined the under 6s. And I was just the goalkeeper for the first few years. Just so I could be in the same team with my brother. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Goals.
That's how the story began, really. And then just being a lifelong Sydney Olympic fan. Partly due to my heritage, but also that's the club I ended up playing many years for and spent a lot of time there. And that's where the coaching journey began as well. It's I was playing there when the National League had finished and everyone had gone back to NPL, if you remember. There was no National League.
Yep.
And there was that gap year in between the A-League starting and, gone to Sydney Olympic to play, and everyone had gone back to play NPL then. So there was like 16 teams in Sydney in the NPL. It was a fantastic competition. And the president's son was in the under-14s and his coach had just left. I think he'd just quit of Sydney Olympic. And I don't know why he's come to me and gone, look, we need a coach for my son's team.
How old are you at this time?
At this point, I would have been early to mid-20s.
Oh, young.
Young.
Yeah.
And he's gone to me, I know you're busy with training there in the first team, but, can you help us out with the under-14s? I'm like, mate, leave me alone, please.
So what were you working at that stage too while you were playing?
Yeah. I was playing at Sydney Olympic and just working part-time.
Yeah.
And he's asked me once, I've knocked him back. He's asked me twice, I've knocked him back. He's come again. He goes, mate, these poor kids now 3 weeks later don't have a coach.
Yeah.
And he's put the guilt trip on me because I reckon he'd be great. And it was his son's team, right? So obviously,
Of course.
he probably thought it was someone from the first team training at the youth team, the academy. So I go, okay, no problem. Look, I'll do it. There's only like 10 games to go. So end up coaching, the first thing you do is whatever you've done as a player. Just play this possession, do this passing, have this finishing, this drill, and whatever you like doing as a player, just try to do it with the kids, not knowing why you're doing it. But you think they'll like it. So then I finished that, and I didn't mind it, to be fair. I thought it was okay. And then a year later, I have a gap year, and then a year later, a friend of mine that runs a club in Sydney, a youth league club, goes, "Oh, mate, I know you coached Sydney Olympic the other year. Please come and coach. We've just got promoted to NPL 2 or something. Come and coach one of our teams." And I go to a cousin of mine, Peter Zorbas, who used to play in the National League as well. I go, "Well, how about if we do it together? Me and Pete will go do it together." He goes, "Yeah, all right." So we go and coach Granville Rage. And they go, "Which team do you want to go?" I don't know. Give us the worst team in the club. Yeah. So they give us down to 12s or 13s at the time. Yeah.
Those kids are shit. You just look up
Shit. They need work.
Yeah,
they need 2 coaches.
Yeah. So there was 2 of us. He didn't pay us at the end of the year. $1,000 we owed. So, yeah. So and I just started coaching youth league then while I was playing. And a few years down the track now, 3 or 4 years in, I'm starting to enjoy what I'm doing with these young players. And I then reach out to an ex-teammate that I used to look up to, Milan Blagojevic. He was coaching. Back then was a program that the FFA had put together called the Skilleroos. And they had one in each state. And he was the head coach of the Skilleroos at the time. So I thought, I'm starting to enjoy what I'm doing. I want to look a little bit deeper and try and go a little bit further. I've made the decision now that football is enough. I've got to think about life after football. And so I reached out to Milan Blagojevic. I said, "Mate, do you mind if I shadow you? Volunteer my time and come and learn?" And he goes, "Yeah, absolutely. No problem at all." So I start volunteering my time for a year. And in that team, at that stage was Daniel Arzani, Ben Falami, Harry van der Sarg, Gianni Stensnes, and a few others. And so you had some really good footballers. Yeah, so I started working with them. A year later, Milan becomes the TD of Football New South Wales, the Institute program, and I become the head coach of the same group. And I probably haven't looked back since then, to be fair. And got to coach them as the head coach in the Institute and the Nationals, work with many talented players there. Then left that to go to Sydney Olympic as the TD. They were in a bit of a rut at the time in terms of the club's youth pathway. People at the time thought I was mad leaving the Institute to go to the basket case in MPL, which at the time was Olympics Youth. And I took on that position as a technical director to run pretty much from the SAP to the first team. And in 12 months, we turned it around. We had some really good coaches there. And then after that, the A-League Academy started. And I was approached by Western Sydney Wanderers to come into the academy when they at the inception there by Ian Crook. And I went to Wanderers. Spent 5 years there from youth team, 18s, 20s, NYL, second assistant to the first team. And, shit started getting real at that point.
This is what I love, and I'll pick into a little bit of the journey, but it's literally like you've literally started from the bottom and almost gone through every possible rank
Bro, there's shit under
you
12s.
could possibly go through in this country. And arguably, you're coaching the biggest club in the country. I mean, it's remarkable. One of the things we became aware of speaking with you and obviously back from a Sydney period with the academy was the Western Sydney Youth was probably an incredible foundation for other clubs to look at of how to run the academy, or at least just from a product of players that it was producing, which you were obviously very influential over. Maybe one, if you could reel off just some of the players it had produced, but two, what you embody for youth players to be working on, what's important for them, what's healthy for them, to be able to, evolve into some of the players that you produce that are so widespread across the A-League.
Yeah, I think it was really exciting at that time because it was the first time A-League clubs started academies, so from under 13s, and not every club started at that time. I remember in New South Wales, Sydney FC and Western Sydney had both started at the same times. Mariners not yet. So we were planning 6 to 9 months in advance. So we knew the following season we'd be coming in. I was given the under 18s in my first job there. And I was working there with some really quality coaches as well. So, you had above me, I was assisting Trevor Morgan, who was the NYL coach there. And then I was obviously the under-18s. Noel Arate was the under-16s. So there was a good group of coaches there. But the beauty of that was that you had now almost 9 months to identify players from New South Wales, all around the state and Sydney, and put together a team from scratch. And, we were really fortunate at that time that we ended up getting some good players at the club and, just some names from that under-18s team, which those players at the time were 15, 16. Tate Russell, Costa Grozos, Tas Mutakutis. Then you had players like Daniel Wilmering, Jared Carluccio, Aquilina, Sammy Silvera. A lot of those boys come in at that time. A lot of players that went on didn't make it. They were still very talented. Nick Milanovic back then was part of the academy. There was a lot of players. Cammy Devlin was there. There was a really good group of players, and they got exposure to that. And Sydney FC had some really good players at the time as well. And that was the journey. That was when stuff got real. You thought, okay, now I'm influencing and having an opportunity to turn young men into professional footballers, and that was something that I was really passionate about back then. Tony Popper was the coach of the first team. He had a really big influence on what happened in the academy, and not only an influence, had a lot of care, and he really cared about what happened underneath, and was really passionate about making sure there was players coming through. So you started to have an idea on what to look for in a player, and then you had to work out how to develop him and how to get him ready for the demands of professional football. And for me, that was always at the forefront of my motivation, was how can I now help these young men firstly become good human beings, because I knew at that stage it's a bottleneck and it's very hard to get through to professional football. You go from 13s, 14s where it's beautiful, it's roses and it's all nice, and you're going to be in the 15s, and the 15s you're going to be in the 16s. Once you're under 18s and you're getting closer to first team, well, they start to drop off. And I used to call it's a process of elimination. And if you can still be there come 18, 19, 20, that means you're closer to getting there. So, stay on this track as long as you can. Hope you don't get removed from the team. Hope you don't get dropped or, not selected. And, that for me was always a key motivation in making sure that, one, I produced players for what the club wanted at the time. Two, can we get as many young players into national youth teams as we can? And then three, can I have a team that resembles what I think football should look like? So I think if you do that development stage really well, you should be able to produce players and have wins and success. And I think they marry together if you've done a good job.
I got two questions on that, because that's awesome. The first one is, was there a specific case, a player that maybe wasn't touted to be, hot shit in the future, and then through your tenure, I guess, has gone on to do incredible things? Like, talk to us about maybe how or what, I guess, were your fundamentals for building these players up to be men, really?
Yeah, look, I think the hardest thing at that stage is learning about human beings, young men. That's the hardest thing, because when they're 16, 17, 18, some are coming from families who have a big emphasis on education. Some come from broken families. Some come from affluent families. You got a mixture of everything. And in the end, you don't know what happens behind closed doors for these individuals, first and foremost. So when you take a step back and think, okay, first I've got to know who this person is, and then I've got to know what I need to do to fix him as a footballer. Now, the person is the person. You can try and know the person as best you can, or get to find out much about them and their family background and situation. I think that always helps, because for me, everyone is different and everyone is unique in their own way. And that's not just in youth, especially in senior football now as well with men. And I've always been big on relationships with people. For me, that's what makes me who I am, and I'm big on that. So once I get to know the person, and then I know each person's triggers, how they need to be treated, how they need to be spoken to. That's one big part. And then the technical, tactical part is obviously another part. And in the end, not everyone's going to make it. So like you said, some come late, and get there. Some you have big hopes on early, and you think surely he's going to make it. Doesn't. then you ask yourself why, and you start to look at everything. Was it temperament? Was it technique? Was it something physiological? Was it the game changing? Was it my eye missed something? You can't get them all right. Yeah, there's always going to be players that slip through the net, and maybe I didn't appreciate at the time what they had, or I missed it, or they weren't my type of player and they ended up being somebody else's type of player. You know, you see that as well. There hasn't really been one that I didn't think would ever make it, and they've jumped out. There's been plenty where I thought they should and they didn't, and normally there's a reason for that. You know, it's not normally bad luck, because those players might leave your environment, go to another club, they don't make it there. They leave that, go to another club, they don't make it there, and it's always the coach and the environment, the club. Sometimes it's difficult to look in the mirror and say,
I'm the common denominator.
it's now me, because the same coach, the 3 different coaches have told me the same thing. And in the end, you know, every kid's got dreams. You don't want to crush their dreams, but at the same time, you don't want to blow wind up their backside and tell them things that aren't true and give false promises. That's not me. You know, for me, it was always make sure we're honest with each other, make sure you're willing to work, make sure your temperament's right, and just know one thing: everything you're doing is not going to guarantee you anything. And if you come to terms with that and accept the fact that you might do everything right and still not make it, if you can accept that and work every day, you're a chance.
It's interesting and unique that with young players, you start off the field, which I think is really cool and really sort of something that I think not enough coaches look at, because I think that is important. The makeup of the person to help them as a footballer, which is not necessarily a common philosophy. Just on the players that you've seen make it, because you've seen work with a lot and seen a lot not make it and a lot make it. What do you think, what is one common denominator that maybe you've picked up as that's why certain players make it, whether they're it's clear as day or whether it's not?
For me, temperament and mental resilience is massive, because it's very demanding. And you know, if you're going to expect a pat on the back and a well done every single day, they're few and far between. You know, you normally get more slaps than pats on the back. And and football, the journey is, you know, when you look back, you remember the beauty of it. But the beauty is very short-lived. It's not, there's not a lot of beauty in it. It just stands out so much because it has such an impact on you. But you don't look back at a career and say, oh, I was so successful. I won so many matches. I won 15 trophies. I got 15 golden boots. No. I got cut by that team. That coach never played me. I was 5 games on the bench. We had a good year that year. But for 3 years, we didn't make the finals. A new coach came. I wasn't his type of player. I was on the bench. Like, there's so many stories.
That's the norm.
Yeah, that's the norm.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the mental resilience to overcome that and to keep going, you're going to give up. So for me, it's the mentality is key, resilience is key, and the common denominator in all that is hard work. There's for me that's non-negotiable. Talent or no talent.
I want to skip ahead now and get into victory. So how does victory come about for you?
Yeah, did you always want to be into the first team environments, or were you stuck on like the youth development space as well?
No, youth development was something I was passionate about at the time, and I still am. I'll never lose that passion for youth development, because I still believe even in senior football, that's youth development, you know, because we can have a 15, 16-year-old train with first team. So, you know, for me, I was at that point in time at Wanderers where I came through the academy, ended up then going through to the first team as one of the assistants. So I worked with, back then, started the journey working. Popper was at the top, and then he went overseas, and Gombau come in, so I was working close with Gombau.
He's a special coach, in my opinion.
Different old coach.
Yeah, it was my. I
so
worked
you had
with
him in Adelaide. So you know Josip, and then after that we had Marcus Babbel.
Did you work with Rashid?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's so
Rashid helped me get to the NYL final.
So
you're sitting in Rashid's seat, obviously. So, Rashid had spoken highly of you on here when, I'm not sure if it was when you became first team coach or assistant coach, but he had said he'd worked with you at Western.
So he had come in, I think it was the back end of pre-season. We had signed him.
2 days, apparently. After 2 days, he got signed for Clatter and People.
Yeah, he come in. He come in. He was an animal at training. which we knew.
And we can say it now, probably for a week before. And Rashid's, he's been sober for 4 years, but we had a pretty big week.
Yeah.
Post-season week in the NPL before that trial, and I thought there is no way this guy should be in any state to board a flight and go and perform.
Bro,
well, let me tell you, I'm pretty sure it was the second or third training. He's gone toe-to-toe with one of the big dogs. He's on trial, and one of our big foreigners at the time, they've gone toe-to-toe.
Yeah.
And I've gone, ooh, this is going to be interesting. I was second assistant at the time. Marcus Babbel was coach. Anyway, cut a long story short, he gets signed. Yeah. Right, so he gets signed that year. So at that point, I was coaching the youth team and assistant. So it was a double.
Was
double
JP
role.
was JP there as well?
JP was the other assistant. Marcus Babbel, JP, and myself. And
okay, cool.
So I was doing both roles, and it was the NYL season at the time. So back then we had the NYL, as you remember it. And so it's the final game of the NYL season. We're playing Sydney FC. The winner of that match goes to the final. And Rashid gets sent down. He's the only first-team player. And, I had no doubt that he would turn up because that's in his nature.
Yeah, it is.
And he was influential, actually, in the phase of play, the goal that we scored to win the match. And, to this day, I look at that goal, and it's one of the best team goals I've ever seen. I think every player on the field touches the ball. It's gone from keeper, from one side to the other side, with a combination finish at the other end. And it was a fantastic goal, which Rashid was part of. And so that was a great goal. Rashid, that's probably his highlight for that season.
Oh man, getting a contract after 4 days on the booze should have been the
just
highlight.
quickly, he said this in the one-on-one pod that we did that hasn't been released yet.
Yeah.
But he said that the first day he went, apparently he was completely off it. And one of the coaches goes, don't know what the fuck you're doing. Come back tomorrow and lock in.
Yeah, JP.
That would have been JP.
Yeah, JP. They had a relationship.
Yeah,
And then
JP loved him.
Pretty direct.
That's why I loved him.
The next day, that's when he went in and started just hammering people, would have went toe-to-toe.
I told you, he's still sweating out some beers, man. Yeah. Anywho.
But look, after that, it was then I left and went to Greece on a journey there to work with Tony in Greece. From there, I went to Newcastle. So from there on, from that point on, was just first team football now and assisting in Greece, assisting at Newcastle Jets there with Arthur Pappas, and then the opportunity came to come to Victory. I just finished my second season at Newcastle. And we had 2 decent years there. Enjoyed working there at Newcastle with Arthur and the club. And Victory had a difficult season, and it was funny. I was getting ready to go on a holiday in the off season.
It's always away.
Yeah. And I get a message from Tony, and the rest is history. I'm thinking this holiday is going to be an interesting one. Got to break the news here to the family. The kids are just settled in Newcastle. They're loving school there.
Oh, so you had moved from Sydney to Newcastle.
Moved the whole family with me. And then I thought to myself, this opportunity's come up for Melbourne Victory. I had a year to run on my contract at Newcastle, and thankfully Arthur and the club didn't stand in my way. I looked at that as something really important for Tony to reach out to me and want me to go work with him there. I thought they've had a difficult season the season before, and I thought this is a good project.
Yeah,
I think we can be really successful there. I'll do my part, whatever needs to be done, and support in the way I need to support as an assistant coach to make sure that Victory's back where they belong and where they should be. And I've never looked back. It was probably the best decision I've ever made, and I've loved every minute of it. The journey's been great so far, and working with Tony, then working with PK, and then being in this position now. When this position came up, I knew I was ready for it, and I didn't think twice when I was asked.
Yeah, just on that, what goes through an assistant's head when it's like, okay, manager's gone, you're stepping up, and obviously, which they're going to do with any coach around the world, the media and the fans are like, he'll just be here for a bit, and then we'll see what happens. What was your mentality going in to that, and how did you deal with, I guess, the pressures of the noise going around?
Did you have the title interim? Like, was that?
Yeah, look, I think that's a funny one at the moment because, or not at the moment, at the time.
Yeah, at the time, right?
It happened on a Monday night. I was at my kid's graduation, Year 6 graduation. And I get a a message during the day from Caroline saying, "Are you free this evening for a chat?" I'm thinking, well, look, before 5 or after 9, because I got my kids' graduation, I've got to be present.
Yep.
You know, I'm away enough.
Yeah.
It's their graduation now. I've got to make sure. The wife said, make sure you don't use your phone tonight. Please be present. You know, it's for the kids. Yes, absolutely. And then the phone rings maybe just on 9 or just before, and we're still at this function. I'm thinking, surely it would have been finished by 9.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to take this call. So as I'm walking out, take the call. 45 minutes later, my wife comes out like, what the hell are you doing? Where are you? The kids are inside. It's their graduation. I'm like, relax. It's a long story, but check your message. I'm going to send you a message. Just get away. Let me finish this conversation. Anyway, so yeah, it just happened there. The news had broken. I'd spoken to PK that morning, and I spoke with the board and JD, and yeah, it was never really mentioned to me to come in and be interim. It was more like, are you ready to step up?
Yeah.
Because if you are, you know, the job's yours. And it was never interim. They never mentioned that to me. I suppose the noise at the time was interim, but I was just told you're taking training as of tomorrow and run with it.
It's interesting now, listening to your journey. It's like, it's fair to say you probably were more than ready as well, based off like all your experience, all the people you've worked with, that we look at it as like, oh, it's a big jump for you. Would have been probably second nature. It just might have been a reverse in potentially how you're communicating with players, like from being the guy that goes and has the fun chats to sometimes, so you're making the decisions now.
And that's for me, that was something that I had to pretty much get on top of quickly, because, you know, my relationship as an assistant coach was very different. Well, when I say very different, it was, you know, in most situations, you know, you got the coach and then you got the assistant who's the good cop.
Yeah, right.
He's the punching bag.
Love being the good cop.
Yeah, and
you get all the back noise.
Yeah, and you're there for the players. You're there to be the buffer between the players and the coach. And again, that depends on each club and each coach, right? It's not always the same.
True.
So I had a very good relationship with the players. And one thing that I didn't want to change, well, I definitely wasn't going to change who I am. You know, in terms of being authentic, I am who I am. I can't change who I am. I'm not going to go from joking with the players and now I'm Mr. Ciro. Like, that's not me, and they're going to look straight through that.
Yeah.
But what I did have to do was remove myself from the change room. And, you know, we're no different. The respect was always there, you know, between me and the players and the players back to me. I always had difficult conversations with players. That was my role as the assistant during my time here. So plenty of one-on-one meetings, plenty of video analysis with players, plenty of tough conversations. So I'd experienced all that anyway, and there was always that respect. And, yeah, the one thing I did was just remove myself. And that's the one thing, there's no regret in that. That's the one thing I miss the most, because there's nothing like a change room. Yeah, and you guys know that. You know, the change room is a sacred place, and it's a fun place, and it's, you know, it's got banter, it's got everything, and I love that. But I also knew in this role I got to remove myself. That's now their space. They're not talking to me now as the assistant, knowing that some things wouldn't get back to the coach, or it's a sacred conversation. They're not going to be judged, and so that was the first thing that had to happen.
So when that happens, who replaces you now as assistant, and do you bring them in? Nick Stav, isn't it?
So at the time, no one.
Yeah.
So this has all happened quick. We got the derby in 4 days, and then we're away to Sydney and Auckland.
Yeah.
So you've almost taken on the two roles.
So being the only assistant at the time, I've stepped in and I've asked for some assistance from some of the academy coaches.
Yeah.
And that's, so there was a little bit on at the time, to be fair.
There was no time to think.
So there was actually no time to speak to people. We had a game in 3-4 days. I had assistant from the academy that come in and spend some time with me, who was already spending a bit of time, 1 or 2 days with us. So we had to get ready for the match. And then we had to travel to Sydney. And from Sydney, we had to travel to, because it was a festive season now, we had back-to-back games every 3 or 4 days. So we had Sydney away, Auckland away, and then come back for Wanderers. And I was hoping that after the Wanderers game, I should be able to have an assistant coach ready to interview or be appointed.
Yeah.
So the first 4 or 5 matches was pretty much me, the fitness coach, the keeper coach.
Far out.
Geez, some big games too.
Yes.
Feel off all at Derby.
Yeah, so we had Melbourne
Auckland,
City.
you were flying.
Yes, Sydney.
Sydney, you were class, and then back to Wanderers.
Yes, and
Welcome.
Sydney. You go to Sydney. It's your first match in Sydney. You got your family there. We cop a goal after a minute and a half. There's a red card after 10, Machach, and I'm thinking, oh shit, here we go. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, that was chaos. That
Yeah,
game, wasn't it?
and to be fair, I think that game for me was the game that I knew that we'd be successful because we were down 2-0 at half time. And second half we've played 80 minutes with 10 men, but second half we've come out and the performance, the energy, the fight, the quality with 10 men. I thought to myself, yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Although we lost 3-0, we caught one in the end. I've walked away from there thinking, yeah, I'm pissed off with the result, that's for sure. But there's plenty of work with the end, and we'll be just fine.
Was there? Sorry, Jakey. Was there a moment where you thought, or was it a game? It might have been that game where you thought, I'm finally settled here. And not to say that you weren't settled from the start, but just with all that chaos, you got the derby in 3 days, you get the call at the graduation, no assistant, asking the keeper coach and the fitness coach. What was the moment where you thought, like, I'm settled now and I can really get to work because I have everything I need?
Yeah, look, I was settled from the start.
Yeah.
It wasn't unsettling.
Yeah.
Because how long were you at the club before?
I was there 2 years at that point, so I'm almost 2 years. But when you've done the time and you've prepared yourself for everything, if it means for a day, a week, a month that you have to roll your sleeves up, as long as you got good people around you, which I had, Scotty, our fitness coach at the time, I'd worked with for almost 10 years. David, the keeper coach, he's more than a keeper coach. Would work with for almost 10 years. There was a group of people there that I'd worked with a long time, quality people, and they rolled their sleeves up too. And it wasn't just me, I can assure you that. Yeah. We've all got to work and say, okay, we're a man down here. In some cases, some clubs have 2 or 3 assistants. We're more than a man down. No problem. Let's just get the work done.
Yeah.
Everything will fall into place. Let's make sure the players aren't missing anything that they need. And in the meantime, if it takes a week, a month, 6 weeks, once we finalise the staff, in the meantime, make sure we look after the players, make sure everything's done. And it was.
I think, sorry, Jake.
No, I was just going to ask, or maybe you go, because I've got a 2-part question.
No, I was just going to say, one thing that I respected about you was, and I've obviously had rants on this podcast before about coaches and their antics, not A-League coaches, but overseas ones. But one thing I respected was you weren't theatrical and trying to make it, trying to make an impact. You just did the work and it came together. And is that always just a part of your mentality of block out the noise, block out the noise, block out the noise? I'm not giving the media, everything that they want to hear or clippable moments. Has that always been your mentality to be like tunnel vision, the team? That's it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's in the end, Saturday, Sundays aren't about me.
Yeah.
My job is Monday to Friday to make sure I do everything I can to get these guys ready to fire on Saturday. And Saturday I'm there to tweak things. And, I want to be there to admire my team and watch them play and enjoy it. And I know that if we've done the work Monday to Friday, then the chances are higher of us, turning up on the week and being ready and being able to not relax, but sit back and watch these talented footballers do their thing. You got your halftime break to sort things out. You got changes during the match if you need to adjust and adapt to something. And for that, I think there's got to be clarity. You have to have a calm. This is my opinion, right? I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. You have to have a clear mind. You have to be calm so you don't make rational decisions. And although it's an emotional game, from fans to players, it's a game full of emotion, passion. But you can't make decisions based on passion and emotion. And when you have clarity and you know what you want to see from your team and you know what you want your team to look like, then I think it makes the job easier because then you can identify if something's not right.
Yeah.
Because it should look like this. It's currently not looking like this. What needs to be fixed?
Just on like the people that you've worked with going into the victory role, maybe more focus on Popper and PK, but obviously I don't think people give enough credit to Arthur Pappas for his tactical brain. Obviously, worked with Gombau and stuff. But can you share just what you picked up the most off Popper and PK that you thought is worth either bringing into your own philosophy or that you admired that they had, which helped them to be great managers?
Look, they're both their own people. That's important, and very different.
Yeah, right.
Very different.
Yeah, which is interesting for me,
so is
for you
Arthur.
to work with, right?
Yeah. And Marcus Babbel again.
All of them. Josh Gombau's even.
Like I've really been blessed with the human beings and characters and coaches that I've worked with and under, and that helps because Marcus, at the time when Marcus came to Wanderers, huge name, massive name. He'd got a team promoted to Bundesliga. He'd coach in the Bundesliga. Imagine winning promotion in second Bundesliga. That's one of the biggest competitions in the world.
Yep.
Is it true he resigned or got sacked when he was just wearing like thongs and a t-shirt or something? Is that true? Or
that was a summer day. It was really hot. He's rocked up. He's actually rocked up with shorts, like moccasins, a shirt, a nice hat.
Moccasins.
But he was just a cool dude.
Yeah.
Oh, what a cool
he was a chiller
top guy.
Yeah, I heard.
Man management, incredible. Yeah,
Right.
really good guy, and got a great story, and had real success as a coach, coach Bundesliga, second Bundesliga, won promotion, coach in Switzerland, great name, great person, great experience, Then Gombau, Josip comes totally different, Spanish model and had his own philosophies and totally different. And then Popper, obviously first I was... when I was at Wanderers first, I was a couple of teams below Popper, but had the influence of him. And been able to work with Tony 3 times. So the first time Wanderers, then in Greece, and then here. I also got to see Tony evolve.
Yeah, I was going to say, was he different everywhere else? Everywhere you went?
Yeah, and that for me shows the sign of a top-level coach.
Right.
Someone who's been incredibly successful and still evolved. Because a lot of people keep doing what they used to do because it worked back then.
Yeah.
And slowly they start to drop and they lose, touch with what's happening now and they don't have the same success. And, when you see that, again, it's a blessing for me that I get to work under that and with that because it's a learning and it helps you keep building your knowledge and keep building that database, that library that you are as a person, as a coach, the computer. And, so when the time comes, you have that opportunity to say, okay, I've worked with a lot of good guys. I've learned a lot of things. I've got my own ideas about football and I've got to make sure I'm my own person still.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors.
Arthur, I wanted to ask you, where are you getting your inspiration as a coach in terms of the way you coach, the style you play? Are you constantly watching football? Are you watching other types of sports, or even coaches that you've had before, or the way you've been brought up? Are you kind of bringing that into your coaching ways? How would you go about it?
Yeah, good question. For me, there's a lot of things that I look at other sports a little bit.
Which ones?
So I love basketball.
I think basketball chess-wise is similar to football.
I love basketball and being able to see, obviously watch NBA. I don't watch it heaps, but I love it.
Yeah.
I've watched EuroLeague games when I've been in Europe and I've seen like how that's so tactical, low scoring. Then you watch NBA, high scoring. Then I love watching the NBL here.
Yeah.
It's, a little bit similar to NBA, not as maybe tactical as EuroLeague. So I see different things in basketball, but I love looking at different teams in football. I don't just follow coaches. I like seeing teams that, for example, there's things about Simeone that I love because I look at that and go, I'd love my teams to be so aggressive defensively, so disciplined. I might not agree with the way he plays with the ball, but I admire how they're set up without the ball.
Yeah.
It's like do or die without the ball.
Yeah, and then I'll look at people like Ancelotti and go, I just love the way this guy relates with his players.
Yeah.
I look at his demeanour. I look at his body language. He's always calm. His players love him. I like that. Then I look at other teams that are different in football. You look at Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool with his counter-attack, and you start thinking, okay, well, yeah, I admire the way he can counter-attack. I don't admire always the way they defend.
Yeah.
So I don't really look at a team as such as a whole or a coach as such as a whole.
Yeah.
Nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
So you're picking ideas from certain different clubs or coaches.
I admire things, you know, I appreciate things. And for me, I always want my teams to be teams that are very fluid, not just one dimensional.
Yeah.
Because for me, the game's forever changing with every pass. The picture's always changing, and you got to train your players to be able to make decisions on the pitch. For me, decision making's the key.
Yeah.
And knowing, you know, how do you adjust or how do you adapt and overcome a high line that's pressing you hard, or a deep block, you know, or a team whose strength is transition and they're going to give you the ball. So you got to train your players to play your own game model, but be able to make decisions on the run during the match to identify what's happening.
Just on that, and the fluidity and changing the style as the game goes on, I think I want to segue into what I feel like is the most impressive win under your tenure, which was Auckland away.
The 1-0? Was that first leg?
2-0.
Was that first leg of the semi?
No,
Second.
the second leg.
Second leg was.
So they're 1-0 down at home.
Oh, yes, correct.
And then a 2-0 win.
That's right.
That game, we live streamed it.
Yeah, of course. It was Valadon outside of the foot to Bruno. Yeah.
Going into that, a lot of people, bar us, because I'm pretty sure Jake on here said that Victory would go and win. Going into that, you're 1-0 down against a team who's been pretty flawless throughout the season. They're favourites. They're at home. Massive crowd. Underdogs, really, going into it. What was the mindset before that? In the change rooms before the games? What were the players thinking? Give us a bit of insight.
Did you know you were going to win that?
Yes.
I don't know why I had a feeling, but why you know the squad better than me. Why did you see you guys were built for that game?
You know, we had played them 3 times previously. They hadn't scored a goal.
Yeah.
And I thought that all performances in those matches were decent. They weren't outstanding, not our best performance of the year, but definitely performances that we did enough to get something from the matches. You know, I'm not going to say we deserved to win all 3, but we deserved to take something. And we didn't. And we ended up getting punished, you know, by a little mistake here or a little moment there. And they were a very good side, you know, well coached. Stevie done a fantastic job there, you know, top guy, top coach. And the moment the third game finished, it was the first leg of the semi.
Which took a turn as well for you guys with BJ going down.
Yeah. And I've gone in, I haven't even gone home yet because we're still at Amy Park. I've just gone into the coach's office and I've just put a team on for next week on the whiteboard and I'm going, I'm changing this. So not because I didn't believe in what we were doing, not at all, because the performances were okay, but I thought, I think we can do something different here. And the next morning at recovery, I called in the leadership group and I said, this is what's happening this week. We've got 4 days to work on this and this is what's going to win us the game. And I saw straight away in their eyes that they believed that this could work. And I explained, it's not a knee-jerk reaction here. This is just what needs to be done.
What was the shift?
And it wasn't, we stuck to all our principles. It was nothing that, you know, throw this out the window and do something new. No, it was the same principle. We're just going to come up with something different. And we did that. We worked on it for 4 days. There was incredible belief and buy-in from the playing group. I ran it past the leadership group straight away, so they're on top of it and go, look, this is what's happening. So we've got 4 days to work on it. And in the end, the rest is history. We go there knowing that we're a goal down. We've never scored against them, never won against them. But we knew we could win.
So the real, I guess, motivation was this change that you're talking about that the players bought into. So it wasn't, you were going in thinking you were going to win.
Absolutely.
I think also as well, you guys had beaten Western Sydney away in the finals too.
That was another one.
Which was a huge one of like, Vic, you don't worry, they're not too fearful of winning away against big teams.
Yeah, there was a period where we weren't winning away from home.
Yeah.
And we addressed that. You know, you look at everything when you don't win a game. You look at your preparation. You look at everything, you know. Why? Well, we've had 3 away games and we haven't picked up a win in all 3. You know, for me, it's Australia. It's not it's not now Europe or South America when you go away and there's 50,000 people where you're actually scared to walk on the pitch, and it's actually a real disadvantage to be playing away from home. You know, it's a little bit different here.
Yeah.
You know, home away, we go to win. You know, we don't go and play away thinking we're parking the bus today, and if we can get a draw, we'll be happy. No, we go to win. So we finished 5th, and a lot of people thought that we weren't going to make the finals. You know, a lot of people were saying that we'd be the big name casualty, and we always had the belief that we'd be playing finals football. Where we finished in that top 6, I didn't know where we'd finish.
Yeah.
You know, we always want to finish as high as we can. We knew probably 1st and 2nd was just off our reach, realistically. So we were playing for the next best. And in the end, we finished 5th. And you go away to Wanderers, who are 13 games unbeaten. The hype's back at Wanderers. RBB's back. Their crowds are back. They're in form.
Yeah.
They've scored the most goals in the league. And we do a job on them. And you knew at that point that, you know, I just had this thing in the back of my mind, knowing that I just knew we'd get to a final.
Arzani was magical that night as well.
Yeah, it was outstanding.
Yeah, is that obviously just your 2 cents on him, because we all talk about his ability and people talk about, you know, what he is, what he could be, what he achieved so young, where he's at now. Like, you got to work with him every day. Can you give us the realist view of Daniel Arzani and his ability? Because I'm sure that's a bit of a tough one for you as well, to not have at your disposal.
Yeah, look, you know, I used to pick Daniel up from school and take him to training. So when I was coaching the institute, his parents couldn't get him to training, and his father said to me, Arthur, if you want him to be in the institute, we've got to get him to training. And I'm like, well, where does he go to school?
Wow.
I go, okay, I don't live far from that school. How about I pick him up every day from school, take him to training, and drop him home at night? Does that work? He goes, thank you dearly.
Wow.
So
that's
4 days a week, I'm picking up Daniel from school.
What age is this,
Daniel's
Arthur?
now 13, 14.
unbelievable, by the way.
Daniel's the same Daniel that he is today. Cheeky, very intelligent, different, a smart ass.
Yes. He's super intelligent. That's
Super
a good
intelligent.
point. Yeah, he is.
He's a character, always has been. So, you know, we have this relationship, and then I see Daniel move on and have, you know, succeed, fail, and, you know, going to a World Cup at 18 and playing and performing and doing what he didn't surprise me.
Wow.
But in the end, it didn't work out the way he would have liked. And you come back, and when it was time to work with him here at Victory, you know, I looked at Pop at the time and said, let's sign him between you and me. We'll fix this bloke, no problem. He ain't going to get away with anything from you, and maybe he might get an arm around the shoulder from me, and I think we'll be okay.
Nice balance.
You got to understand. But Daniel is a very talented footballer. Whether Daniel reaches the heights that he can, that's up to Daniel. That's up to Daniel. And he's not the only one. There's many talented players like that. And, you know, the problem sometimes is with players that there's a misconception with players. And if someone is different, people translate that as difficult.
Yeah.
And again, I'm big on the character. I'm okay with someone being difficult. I'm okay with someone having a bit of baggage. Who doesn't have baggage?
Yeah. You don't want a team full of 11 robots with no personality.
Correct. This adds to your team. This adds, it's, for me, I love that.
Yeah.
You know, Machach, big character.
Yeah.
Huge character. You know, Bruno, Gary, they're all big characters. Tiki's a character. They're character. Roddy Miranda, they're characters, right? And that's what makes a team a team.
Yeah.
And I don't shy away from that. Those players don't scare me. They don't make me. I actually thrive on those players. They're the players I love. I love a player that comes with baggage. I love someone that's tricky to deal with, you know, because I know they've got so much to give. And everyone's trickier in their own ways. The quiet kid's tricky too. Because I want him to talk.
That's so true.
Actually, it elevates your coaching as well. If you have 11 completely different characters, the older you get and the more experience you get, you're going to be like, I've dealt with this before. I know this type. Oh, here comes one of these types. Okay, yeah, I've dealt with this before. So it would help having all these different characters in the change room.
Can you share why Zizou's gone?
Zizou's gone. Yeah, look,
Because that's
totally out of
love
left
watching
field. And look, it's been no secret to us at the club that, you know, he's got a newborn. Yeah. So little Raheem is 1 now, or more close to 1. So last just before the end of last season, his wife's gone back to France for the birth of their child. And, being he's been difficult for them, on their own with a newborn. He's loved it here, loves the team, has loved the club, loved the league.
It's been the best thing for his career.
And it has been for him.
The best performances of his career have come here.
Well, most consistent, everything.
And he hasn't played 2 consecutive years back-to-back. He's been great for the A-League.
Yeah, I agree.
And when he come and saw us the other week to tell us of, the difficulties that we've known he's already had, and there's possibly an opportunity for him to go closer to home. He's served us really well for 2 years. And we knew, yes, it's not great if he departs and if we have to let him go. But we also knew of his circumstance and situation. And, at the same time, you didn't want him here not being the best version of himself either.
So you've kind of dipped your hat to him for his service and done the human thing of we'll
the club has as well.
Yeah, the club as a collective.
Yeah. And in the end, he's served us really well for 2 years. He's been great on the pitch. He's been great off the pitch. He's been great for the league, And 2 years ago, no one knew who Machach was. We found him playing in a team that got relegated in Greece, and someone who supposedly had come with baggage, history of arguing with coaches and having a short fuse and a hot temper, and no problem.
I don't think I saw. I mean, from a fan's perspective,
we didn't see him on field. It's different. When we had chats to him, he was the nicest guy ever.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. Like, as a fan, I don't know what goes on, but as a fan, he just seemed like he really enjoyed his time of victory, and he played. He's one of the type of players I like, a bit of a maverick.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to put a shot wide. I'm not afraid to
run at players, man.
Take on 9 players.
People giving him space after 10 games, and I'm like, when this guy runs at you, it is so dangerous.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. When he's between lines, turns and runs at you, God help you.
God help you. And I'm like...
And you don't get a number 10 attacking midfielder that's 6'1" and built like a brick shit house either.
He plays like me. It's crazy.
But are you trialing... obviously, I assume, right, and you can share if you wish, but are you still trying to bolster the squad? And the current squad, the combinations, is that something you're still trialing at the moment? Have you landed on a bit of an idea of what it's going to look like?
Well, look, this unexpected twist with Zizou obviously is not disrupted, but now giving us something else to think about. So we're still in the process of finalising the squad. We're still a few signings away from doing that. We won't rush and hurry into signings just because he's gone. We have to get it right, and it will be a different team because, like I said, Zizou's hard to replace, that style of player.
They're rarer. They're getting rarer.
Do you mean as well, like obviously personnel, naturally you're forced, your hand's been forced in a sense, but tactically you're going to adjust as well?
Look, tactically we know what we want. So the players that we bring in need to fit how we want to work.
Understood.
So, and that's the key ingredient, because in the end, if we just bring someone who's a good player that doesn't fit in with what we're trying to do,
it's not
then,
FIFA.
It's difficult. So we're very thorough in who we bring in, why we bring in, and what we need from them. And sometimes that takes longer, but in the end, you get the player that you want and you need.
Are there certain positions specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to replace Zizou.
Yep.
So, there'll be an attacking midfielder that comes in for sure.
Yep.
Obviously now you got announced today about Jason.
Yep. Good signing.
And, for us there, you look at that and say, okay, he's got value on the pitch. He's got leadership on the pitch, off the pitch, change room, can add to us in attack. So he's a fullback that can go and assist, can score, which is what we want. We want to score more goals than last year. Yeah, that's the key. We want to concede less, 100%. So, we've had to bolster the defence as well to get some depth there. And now we're in the process of the last little touches of the squad. So the next couple, 2 or 3 signings that we make will be really important for us to help us build the depth that we need, and also bring in the players that we need to put on a performance that our fans expect every week, and the board and the club and me and my staff, And, a funny story on Zizou, by the way.
Oh, I'd love
because he loves spitting the dummy when it's time to run at training. Up until the day before he left, he spat the dummy. And it was beautiful because he was running. His team lost, in small-sided games. He had to run extra. So, up until the last day for him, just to tell you his character and why in the end it's like a a lovely relationship that unfortunately has ended, but in a good way, right? Up until the very last day, that he's training. Before it's a bit of a conditioning day, so it's going to be a little bit tough. He looks at the small side of games teams and goes, I've won this. My team's winning. We're not running. No problem. He's now picking who's going to come second, third and fourth. So in the end, he comes fourth. Last game, poor young kids that are training with us that day, some of them cop a few kicks that maybe they didn't deserve. No. He spits the dummy, which is beautiful. Players are having a laugh. Okay, but we send him on his merry way after that. So it's all
what a way to go.
Yeah, it was just him, right? that was just him. Anything he can do not to run. When it's time to work hard at training, he wants the ball at his feet, doesn't want to run. But, come the game day, he's going to turn it on. But, till the very end, he was his character, who he is.
That's special.
Yeah, it was special.
Before I get into some quick fire questions to end, I just want to talk about the fans quickly because obviously we know Victory fans ever since the inception have been the benchmark in terms of atmosphere, in terms of passion. Was there a specific moment where I guess you felt that how big the fan base is and how passionate and how loud they are, like even going up to them after the games or something? Was there one specific moment where you thought, wow, like I'm in front of the biggest fan base in the country here?
I felt that the most as a coach on the away bench.
On the away bench, yeah.
To be honest with you, that for me, when you came to Amy Park, and Amy Park's full and it's buzzing and it's humming, and Melbourne Victory scored and you're on the opposing team, you're like, shit, that's loud.
Yeah.
So you felt that already.
Yep.
So, and then coming and being on the opposite bench now and knowing you got these guys behind you, you feel 2 feet taller.
Yeah.
But again, it comes with the territory. It comes with now, okay, you've got that. You got these 20,000 behind you. You got to win. Because 20,000 are going to kill you. And that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
That's the nature of the beast. So, and I love it because in the end, they pay their hard earned to turn up. They make the environment and the atmosphere at Amy Park second to none. And it's my job and my staff's job and our players' job to make sure that we send them home happy, because for a lot of people, that's what they look forward to every week, and you can impact their lives because, people are struggling out there. They come to football to let go and release, and you want to put a smile on their face. And, if you've done that, these people are going to have a beautiful week, and the next 7 days until the next match, they're on a high and they forget about any problems they might have.
Yeah. Like your Olympic days.
Exactly. I was no different. I was no different.
That's a good point. Very good point.
Again, I've just got a few quick fires and then we'll finish up. So do you have any weird pre-match rituals or superstitions that you do?
Yeah, I play a game, Block Hoodoo.
An app?
No,
like
game.
an app, like on your phone?
Yeah.
Block Hoodoo.
Yeah.
What is it, like Sudoku and mixed with something else?
It's almost like Tetris, but you can't move them around.
And that gets you... It's just something you've done? How long have you done that for?
Couple of years now.
People
is that the one that dropped?
The gaffer of
dropped,
just loving the lad.
Hey, watch those app sales go.
Block Hoodoo. 10 minutes before.
But Arthur, if you've gone bad,
I've got to listen to my music.
What do you listen to?
And play that. Oh, it's a mixture.
Okay, all right.
Could be R&B sometimes. Could be house.
Oh, yes.
Could be house. Could be,
Any Greek music?
Could be Phil Collins. Greek. There's always a Greek playlist. There's always a Greek playlist.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, sometimes it's Phil Collins. Just depends. There's no pre-game playlist. Put it that way.
Yep, okay.
I just go to the library and check what mood I'm in at the moment, but it has to be music with something, and that something is normally Block Hoodoo. Always want to beat my high score.
Your highest score.
Yeah, there you go.
What's like the funniest or most odd thing you've heard while on the sidelines that's just thrown you off? Like it could be from an opposition player, a fan. Like, have you heard anything where you just thought, what?
Those days were probably more when you're coaching in the MPL space.
Tell me
when you can hear every word.
So when, obviously with coaching the youth team in MPL, you come across some characters on the opposite bench, that's for sure. And those days you'd hear some things and you'd have to laugh. You'd have to laugh. That's all makes it. That's
what all our skits are about.
Sometimes some funny things. It was always funnier when I'd hear people abusing the head coach. When I was an assistant coach, listening to the dog's abuse that he's copping, because I could laugh about it with him after the game. That's always nice. When you're up there, sometimes it's weird. Sometimes you actually block out the noise.
Yeah.
And I'm like, things have happened during the match, and I don't have any recollection of
So
it.
tuned in.
Yeah, and so in that role as a head coach, I'm sure there's dogs abuse every week.
Yeah.
I might have made the wrong sub at the wrong time. Why is he playing? The team shit, pass forward. There's probably a million things happening. And yeah, again, that's for them to enjoy it. Throw whatever dogs abuse you got to throw. I'm there to do a job. I can't let any noise affect what I'm doing or affect my thought process. And,
100%.
that's life. That's life. I always think, in coaching, for every one person that likes you, 5 won't. And I understand that. I'm happy with that. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to do a job that I love and do it the best that I can. And when that finishes, I look forward to going home and being a father.
What would you be doing if you weren't coaching?
I'd be involved in football somewhere.
Something else, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to. Yeah, I would just find a way to be involved in football in some capacity. That's my passion. That's my love for me. But in saying that, if you can't do what you're passionate about and what you love, you'd have to find something else that, pays bills. But for me, football is my passion, and I've been very thankful and grateful that I've been able to earn a living through football. And that's hopefully that.
Will we
long
see the
continues.
turtleneck back this season? Is that going to be
Oh,
the stay?
that's what I wanted to ask. I've always wondered this. How does a coach decide what the hell they're wearing on match day? And is it a mental thing of like, if I'm in a tracksuit, the players might be more relaxed. If I'm in a suit, is there anything mental with it, or is it just whatever I'm comfy in?
There's no tracksuits in Melbourne Victory.
yeah,
No
right.
tracksuits in Melbourne Victory.
club,
It's a suit, yeah, right.
No tracksuits.
Yeah,
No
okay.
tracksuits. But no, we got our own dress code there, and
Yeah.
it's not like I wear something different every week.
Yeah.
The turtleneck.
It wasn't even
though,
a
the
turtleneck.
turtleneck.
Actually, it wasn't even a turtleneck. It was like a half. I don't even
it
know
was
what
a
it's
half.
called.
Oh, right.
But that was only because
tortoise
before
neck.
Wellington, I've looked ahead of the weather. It's starting to get cold. I'm thinking we're away to Wellington. I'm thinking shit's going to be cold there.
Freezing.
The t-shirt, suit jacket's not going to cut it here. I'm going to freeze. So I've gone, let me see if I can find something warmer that's navy.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
found that. DFO Essendon
nice.
saved me.
Big shout out.
Big shout out. DFO Essendon. And,
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, and it got a little bit of noise, to be fair. And people
loved
liked it. Some people didn't. Didn't
Nah.
bother me. I was comfortable. I was warm.
That's all that matters.
But yeah,
mate.
I'm not superstitious in that regard. Like, oh yeah, wear this one too, until you lose, or change clothes because you didn't win the last 3 games. Not at all. It was just, that's we'll see what's in store for next season.
I got 2 more quick ones. Who's the biggest joker in the victory squad?
Currently,
Yeah, currently.
Santos.
Gav was playing
Anyone
football.
pick that one?
Yeah.
Nah.
Not really, because when we met him, he wasn't much of a
They played
joker.
football together
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
I would have said from just the outside looking in. Oh,
Who's your pick?
well, I would have said Bruno last year if I'm looking at it, just off personality alone.
Personality,
I would've
big,
said
not the
Arzani.
clown of the team.
He's not the
Arzani,
clown.
yes.
Yeah.
Daniel was, absolutely. Zizou
Yeah.
has that in him.
Yeah. I'm trying
Yeah,
to think
there's a
who
few,
else.
but
Adama,
Santos.
is he? Or is he
Adama's funny in his own way. Yeah,
yeah,
the king.
Adama's unique.
The king.
He's the king.
Consummate
Yeah.
professional.
He's the king. Adama's a king.
Yeah,
He goes by the name of King at training. He's king.
Okay, yeah.
Adama's king. Yeah, he's a character in himself as well. Look,
Yeah.
there's a lot of characters there. There's a lot of characters in terms of probably the biggest clown at the moment. I'd probably, you'd have to ask the players who are more amongst it. But for me, looking from the outside in, the one that makes us laugh the most is Santos.
Santos, there you go.
Yeah.
Ah, good seeing Samba. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Last one. Is there any game where you've had to make a very weird, strange tactical decision, like putting a striker as a centre back or something weird? Has there ever been a circumstance where you just thought, I've got to try something crazy here? Doesn't even have to be.
There's definitely been games where I've gone, I wouldn't do that again. But not the flip side. When you look back and think, oh, why did I make that sub? I shouldn't have made that sub or that time.
Yeah.
I look back and in terms of doing something drastic or thing, I've never really had to do that.
Yep.
Like there's been like maybe last year, a game or two, a minute to go, the last minute, and, Roddy says, do I stay up? Yeah, go stay up for a minute, nothing to lose. But not 15 minutes to go, put the centre-back striker.
Yeah.
I should have a striker on the bench if I want to do that, put another striker on.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know, it doesn't sit well with me to say, okay, there's 15 minutes to go and put my centre-back striker. He's centre-back for a reason.
Yeah.
So if I need him, my teams don't normally play with long balls into the box where I need my centre-back. I've never really had that success off that. So, you're a centre-back for a reason, mate.
Yep.
Stay there and make sure we don't concede another one. Keep us in the game because we might score another one anyway. So,
Yep.
I've never really had to throw something like that. Even keepers going up. Again, I think a keeper in the box, really?
Not a fan?
Well, how many times have we seen that?
Yeah.
Come to fruition.
Yeah,
one in a million.
Yeah. It's never happens.
That's not a good gamble for me. I don't like gambling regardless. But you're a keeper for a reason, mate. You're good with your hands. So maybe just stay back there.
Stay in goals. We're going to jump at we just saw, because we've actually been speaking a lot about the NPL of late. We've seen you at a couple games. Maybe just your 2 cents on the standard, I guess where the league is at now, going a bit younger, maybe those teams and players in those leagues being more of an angle for clubs to look at, like just your viewpoints on why you're there, I guess.
Oh, I love it. I think it's NPL's got a massive part to play in Australian football. And, I wish there was more opportunity for players from NPL, those that want it and are good enough to have exposure to A-League, because they're not far off at all. Some are there. They're already. Some might need 6 months to get there in that environment. There's always talent out there. I don't believe that everyone in the A-League are the only ones good enough to be in the A-League. I definitely believe that there's players in all NPL leagues around Australia that are good enough to definitely be squad players and then progress from there. I genuinely believe that. And I love going out to watch that because you're always seeing something different. You're seeing a player and, the way the landscape is at the moment, like you said, the times are changing and it might open up more opportunity for players to get exposure or an opportunity. Obviously, ideally, more clubs in the league would give that as well. But at the same time, now with obviously financial restraints that all clubs are faced with, and just the way the model is at the moment of playing younger players and trying to sell, I think that'll open up opportunities for players. And that's why I'm there looking every week. I love watching games, not only our youth team, but the people they're playing against, and also just a game that our club's not involved in. There's been some fantastic games that I've watched, and even last night watching, Heidelberg roll the Wanderers there, There's good players. There's some really good players, and you got to always be out there watching, and then you find out a bit about the player as well. Some of them aren't interested in A-League because they're that far gone and life's already kicked on. But any other player that's, for me, under 25, who's got fire in the belly, who thinks they can and want to, they shouldn't be denied if they're good enough. And I'll continue to look and see what's out there. And, I'd love nothing more than to find a player from NPL and give them an opportunity in the A-League and let them have a career. It's no different to identifying a young player in your academy.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for me.
Yeah.
Giving someone an opportunity to come in and, your club's been, valuable and had an influence in that person having an opportunity to be a footballer.
Well said.
Beautiful. That's a great way to end there. Arthur, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy man. That was awesome.
Yeah.
There's going to be
Great
so
pod.
many great quotables from that, so appreciate it. Good luck for the season. We'll be backing you. I need to get at more victory games this year. Obviously, you see my little membership scarf over there. I haven't been to enough, I think, so I'm keen to get back. But anything else, you boys?
Nah, good luck for the season, Arthur. Thanks for coming on. We love
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Everyone loves hearing the
Keep up
coach
the good work.
talk. So.
Appreciate it, man. Suited and booted, Arthur Diles, we out.